Hi everyone, Mr. Q here, and welcome back to the Induction Noise Podcast. I feel like we need to just apologize quickly. We did promise at the beginning of this little journey that the YouTube channel would be releasing regular episodes of the podcast as and when they come out a week later. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to do that for the last couple of weeks because Niku has decided to go to Bloemfontein. And Niku is the one who puts all the videos together with the audio that I put together, and therefore things have just gotten a little bit behind. But Niku is back, I'm pleased to say. Unfortunately, obviously coming back from Bloemfontein, he's got to go into quarantine for a while, just so we can make sure he didn't bring any Bloemfontein with him. But once he's been cleared by the doctors, I'm pretty sure they'll send him back to work and we can get back to releasing regularly. So we hope you enjoy this episode. We got a new guest, we got some cool news coming your way. Have a listen, let us know what you think in the comments, and we'll catch you in the next one. Good evening, gents, and welcome back to Induction Noise. I am Mr. Q, and with me as always is Neil.
Hey guys.
Andre.
Hey.
Niku at the end there.
How's it?
And more eagle-eyed people watching us on YouTube might notice someone who's not been here before. And it sort of brings us on to our topic of discussions, but we have Henco here from, now I'm not 100% sure how I should be saying this. Is it ROWE or ROWE or
ROWE?
So what is socially acceptable?
Afrikaans people, it's ROWE, and for the English guys, it's ROWE.
Motor Oil.
And in German, you would say?
I don't know if I'm going to say it correctly, but I'm going to say ROWE.
Yeah, see, there we go.
So it's ROWE, but Afrikaans and English people will say it wrong, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Those are the guys who say Porci or Porsche. Porsche. Anyway, so if it isn't immediately obvious, we have been alluding to the fact that we have a sort of brand partnership on the table, and this is it.
Hey.
This is it. So thanks for joining us, Henco, and we hope that we are going to be able to do big things with you guys, because we're very excited about all the interesting racing stuff that we're doing over the next year or so, and you guys are quite involved in racing as well.
We are. Thank you for having me, guys. So the ROWE is in South Africa now for 2 years, and we decided to partner up with these guys.
After a lot of begging, I had to beg quite a lot.
There was some alcohol involved.
Exactly. I think it's the right fit for our partner, for our brand, and hopefully you guys make a success of it.
Yeah, definitely. And you guys probably have partnered with some big guys in the motoring community already here in South Africa. I don't know.
Yes. So we have one main sponsorship currently running. We are sponsoring Johan de Bruin, JDB Racing. He's in the Rally Raid, what do you call it? I don't know, Rally Raid series. He's got one car in there, and we also sponsoring, I think it's a 994. What did you say? What's his Porsche?
944 that he races on the main circuit on pit.
Yeah, unfortunately they crashed there, so we don't have to sponsor any oil for that car at this stage.
Until it's been rebuilt.
Yeah.
Disclaimer at the bottom of the screen: crash was not caused due to oil. It was.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
It did not slip on oil.
No. It was some other catastrophic mechanical failure, not caused by the oil.
Maybe banana peel something, but it
wasn't
oil.
It's not the oil. So you guys have obviously been in South Africa a while, but for the guys who don't know, you don't just do oil. I mean, you guys do a whole range of products.
Yeah, we do the whole lubrication range right through from passenger cars to industrial oils, and also your specialist food grade oils. So we do the whole range. And we haven't been here for a while. It's only 2.5 years, and I think in motor oil terms that's
still infancy.
Correct. But just to add to that is with ROWE in Germany was established in 1995 by Michael Zehe, big racing enthusiast. He moved over from Fuchs and he decided he wants to start his own company. So 30 years, I think it's good.
Yeah, and I mean, you've obviously, well, the company's obviously had quite big success. Some people might view the model cars here in front, but especially in, don't drop the Porsche. Especially in endurance series, where obviously the liquids that you use is quite important to keep a motor going. And you were kind of speaking
racing for 24 hours.
Yeah, I mean, you need stuff to keep together, and you were kind of speaking. You were in the VD, what do they call themselves? VLN and VDN or what?
The series.
The Van der Lindes. They themselves. The VDL brothers. There we go. That's what you know. So you've already kind of had, even though they're international, they've already kind of had a touch on South Africa without even knowing it.
So a lot of South Africans would watch them racing in the endurance series and DTM and all these things, and you would have seen Van der Linde brothers with some ROWE sponsorship on the cars. So,
exactly.
So
they are BMW M drivers.
Yeah.
So they hire drivers. And can I also mention, ROWE is one of the few, I think it's one or two oil companies that has their own racing team. The others are just sponsors.
So that's a totally fully owned ROWE, right?
Yeah, we call it our laboratory on 4 wheels.
That's awesome.
Well, that kind of makes sense. I mean, if you guys are doing endurance racing and stuff, it makes sense to test your product in there, because I don't think you get a 100%. Much harsher environment than that.
Yeah. And I mean, one of the interesting conversations we had was, let's say we're running an oil in one of our vehicles, let's call it the Supra or the Nardini or whatever. They will take a sample of the oil after, I think you said, like 10 races or whatever, to go and test what it's done. Because obviously each car's wear and tear is going to be different, and you obviously get suggested this by a oil finder or whatever on your website. So it kind of gives you the backing, like we're backing our product fully. We'll test it after a few runs. 100%. If something goes wrong and it's according to the oil, we'll back it and we'll sort that issue out. So 100%. That's
we can
awesome.
Provide some data to products.
Yeah. Also,
we're actually product developers.
I also read on the ROWE website that the main factory in Germany is the most technologically advanced oil manufacturing plant.
Most modern plant in Europe, yes.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive accolade to have.
It is.
Hi everyone, just a quick stop and a shout out to our sponsor today. CodePure is Niku's company that specializes in anything technology related. If you are sitting in the office right now, getting frustrated, having to click on 1,000 things just to get one simple task done, you need to chat to CodePure, because these guys will build you a custom piece of software that makes your working life so much easier that you would wonder why you hadn't done it sooner. They don't just create custom software, they can also build your website, they can create workflow systems, they can supply hardware. I mean, these guys are connected to anything computer related. So if you need anything in that kind of space, chat to Niku and his team at CodePure. They really know what they're doing. They are an award-winning team, and you will not regret it. Thank you, CodePure, for sponsoring this episode, and now let's get back to it. And is that just because it's a young company, or is it just because these guys are investing to make sure that their product is the best?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both, and we also have 2 young directors in charge now, so they want to keep up with technology. So there's constant maintenance and upgrades to our factory, and I know it's not a big thing for South Africa, but they're one of the cleanest plants I've ever been in. Very green as well.
Which is quite an unexpected thing for an oil factory.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
And we also, our race cars has actually been racing on biosynthetic oil, or not a biosynthetic, a green oil. I'm not sure what we call it in English. I'm a boertjie.
You can gooi het Afrikaans.
Exactly, but it's this plant material, waste material.
Okay.
Plant waste.
Oh yeah, like a plant-based
bio something oil. And now all the other companies are following, and we're very proud of being the first in that field.
Cool. Listen here, Neil, we're going to have to push this in gardens, since everyone eats plants in gardens.
You can like come fetch all the waste from the market afterwards.
Any discarded like kale leaves or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Make some oil from that. You're onto something, yeah.
There we go.
I'm not quite sure I'd be able to live in gardens. My favorite vegetables are chicken.
Great. I'm with you there.
Pork.
Pork's not a vegetable. Pork is... We're going off on a tangent here, but anyway. So you guys have now set up shop in Joburg and in Cape Town.
Yeah.
We're obviously going to be trying to help you guys to distribute all of the cool stuff that you've got. We've all got quite interesting project cars. So we're going to be running...
I'm well aware of that.
We're going to be running some fluids through them to see what they can do for us. This thing, my Jag needs a service desperately. Actually, it needs to be crushed desperately. But I want to... I saw on the website you guys have a very interesting looking diesel fuel system cleaner and protector that 100%. I want to run through here because I think I've got one injector that's not
working.
Yeah.
Not injecting.
I thought you had one that's working.
No, I've got 3 that are working, mostly. I don't know if they're all working the same, but this car, it's never let me down, but man, it's got some issues now that need sorting out. I've had to dig into it a bit. And
by the way, listeners, this car could be for sale at the right.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Well, that's the problem.
Timing is everything.
I'm too honest, and I couldn't sell this to someone without fixing all the issues first. It's just not in me to do that kind of thing, unless it was someone who knew the car, who knew what's wrong with it, and they're happy to take it like that anyway at a reduced price. But I mean, I'm joking now, but it's actually not that bad. It's just.
Didn't I see a video of you drilling a hole somewhere in your car?
Yeah, I did do that.
Okay.
I did drill a hole.
That was
if you want to buy the Jag, just remember that.
that was part of fixing.
That worked, by the way.
No, I saw.
The Jag.
I saw.
The Jag specialist. I asked about it. He's like, no, we've done that before. It never works. I'm like, well, okay, it's a couple of bucks. Let me try it. Drilled the hole, inserted the stuff. It worked. Car ran beautifully. But now I've got an injector that's not so accurate.
No, I saw it worked.
So you see, we get off track quite easily here.
And
and quite quickly. But I want to talk quickly about your website, because I even when we started talking about it, I went onto your website and I saw there's this really, very simple, very cool configurator, and I even found oil for my scooter on there.
Yeah.
I literally found, and I thought that's one of the coolest things ever, where I think anyone can, if you're ever unsure about whatever you're running, is go search for your vehicle. It's like the fact that a small Taiwanese scooter brand is listed on there. I thought
with a Sparko sticker.
With a Sparko sticker.
It's listed on there. Exhaustive list.
There's
a specific entry with a Sparko sticker. With Sparko
sticker in brackets on there. So it's quite easy for people to find.
It is. The Oil Finder is an awesome tool, but please go visit our South African website. There you can also search your products, etc. And then there's a badge on our website. If it's green, it's in South Africa. If it's red, it's not yet here. Okay. So just remember that.
Cool. I think we maybe, since we've talked about all the oils and viscosities, etc., we need to test Henco's personality now with a bit of a induction noise stock trumps.
Yeah, the induction noise Rorschach test.
There we go.
The personality test.
So Neil is our lady in dress there with the fantastic new T-shirt he's wearing there.
It's a wonderful car. Andre loves this car.
That's why he's wearing that shirt.
I could only find a shirt without the BMW M4 in my size.
That's the only reason why he's not wearing it.
So Neil, will you explain to Henco what we kind of doing with the top trump cars there?
So it's very easy, there's a very, let's say, we're not going to go into the origins of the game, but I think you'll figure out where it comes from. But it's basically, you're going to pick 3 cards, 3 different cards. You guys will also be involved, I think, still, with Samola. I think you guys, we'll see you guys there. So
100%.
we actually, the game there originated there. So we went up to all the drivers, which weirdly enough, right, we tried to do the filming there for the first time. Half of the South Africa's, the best drivers, the who's who, we didn't record or didn't.
We recorded them.
We recorded them, but we don't have.
Lovely.
So we're gonna play the game with them again this year. But it's basically you have to choose one car to own, one car to race up Samola, and then one to crush.
Okay, sure.
So basically, crush. We also because when we were with another guest on our podcast, we used to like crushing. It's like, I can't like. Just see it as a car that you're not interested in.
It's a car that you discard.
Yeah, I know the game. The other way.
Yeah, you know the other side of it.
I know that
So,
one. Okay, 3 of them, eh?
3 of them, yes.
Mag ek kyk?
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously mag ek kyk.
Okay,
so what you got there?
I think for the viewers on Spotify, just name there what you've got.
Okay, I've got the Jaguar F-Type, Honda NSX, and the Ferrari F40.
It's not a bad
That's
selection.
not a bad selection.
I know which ones
That's
I
kind
do.
of hard.
Ooh.
So one you need to race up the hill, one you
Yeah.
discard, and one you keep.
Okay, I know we've got a Jaguar enthusiast in the room.
It's okay, don't
And a
pay
Ferrari.
attention to-
It's about your own.
Facts are more important than feelings.
Some people here may have failed this test. It's for you to pass.
Remember, guys, I'm an Afrikaans boereseun. I drive a bakkie, and I'm happy with it. But I played Need for Speed.
Just there we go. Just imagine for a moment there was no bucky system.
Yeah, or imagine you lived in Sea Point.
100%.
There's no scooter.
Yeah, well.
Okay, so it's keep, race up, Samola.
And just
Unrake.
throw away.
Okay, I'll keep the Ferrari.
Okay. Good choice.
Want deze
Good
mooi.
choice. Yeah, and there's actually been a lot of hype on the F40 this year. Eh? There's been quite a lot of there's been a few oaks wrecking them, but there's been quite a lot of hype on the F40.
The F40 is an easy car to wreck.
Yeah,
It is.
so it's good that you're keeping it. It's an awesome car.
Okay, good.
Your retirement plan is sorted.
100%. Okay, and then a car I'd race up the hill would be the NSX.
Nice.
Yeah.
There we go.
I would have had exactly the same.
Yeah,
choice.
I
That
wanted
was
to
my
say,
choice as
I
well.
would have gone the same way as well. I was umming and eyeing about the F40 would be awesome going up the hill, but I want to own it.
Exactly, yeah.
Actually, can I just do the F40 and leave it?
I mean, I would trade you the F40 for everything else. It's just, I just keep
I
that.
think the NSX would actually be nicer up there
very
because the
nice car,
F40
yeah.
is going to be such a handful. If that turbo kicks in on the theoretical bump that the Sim has, you're dead. You're dead.
Well, I shall.
Sorry, guys, did anyone see Niku's balls?
So Nico, that's all very theoretical. In about 2 months from now, 3 months from now,
Yeah, it's about 2 months.
I shall let you know
How the turbo
how
feels.
hectic it is when the turbo kicks in.
I'll also let you know.
I think you're fine because your turbo kick is being filtered out by a slipping clutch a little bit.
All I'm saying is you're going to have to be competing against Suzuki's, right? We're going to specifically time you from the 0 to the 100. If the Suzuki's knock you off their slipping clutch or not.
I'm still going to be spinning when the Suzuki's are around the first corner. Man.
Henco, you were talking about buckies. Like, what do you like? So you're a bit of a bucky guy.
What's your favorite bucky?
What's your favorite bucky? Yeah.
Ooh, now this is a contentious subject.
Yes.
This
Let's say a
is
South African. A bucky you can buy in South Africa in the back of the
No,
car.
but what does he own first? Like, come
Yes.
on, man. What bucket does he own first?
Ford,
There
okay.
we go.
Yeah, we can.
the XLT,
Okay. Yes.
2018.
Like
Is it a 3.2 or is it a
2.2. No, I drive too much. I can't.
My brother has the same one.
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
My brother's on his second. He's also got one.
yeah. I'm eyeing the new one, but my wife is not too happy about that.
I mean,
No, any Ford bucky.
Okay.
So you're in the Ford camp, solidly in the Ford camp.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's kind of table Ford here with my dad's Raptor, etc.
So we're going to get along fine. We got
when
Ferrari ownership, we got a Ford guy.
When we started the podcast, we had there was a very clear camp. That was the Ford camp.
Yeah, I was like,
so all of us were like, if you're an Alpha fan, like two of us are, it's a bit like being like. So which rugby team do you support? I think I know the answer.
Come on, guys. Can I just tell it?
Do they wear blue shit and sometimes pink ones?
Sometimes, yes.
So you remember the old days of the Currie Cup when North Botha was still playing, and so what happened in those days is, how do you know that you're really a Western Province supporter? Is that you support any team that's playing against the Blue Bulls, and the other way around, right?
No, so I'm probably the only bull that supports the Stormers as my second team.
Okay, well.
Yeah. Is there a specific reason for that? Is your wife from Cape Town or?
No, it's just you like them second.
My father and them are Stormer supporters.
Okay, well that would help.
But when they play against each other, we don't ride together.
Like we had right in the beginning, in the first season, like the Chev and the Ford people, you know. Like today, it's the Hilux and the Ranger people. You know? There's always some camps. So you used to be the Ford guy. We used to be like anti-Ford.
And then you have the Isuzu guys like doing their own thing in their own little world.
It's like still
flying a rainbow flag, you know.
still buying their brand new 2011 buckies.
So there's an interesting. It's a fact, but maybe you guys know it. So you know the first bucky on where do they press the cars? What do you call it? The scrapyard.
Yeah.
The first bucky on a scrapyard was a Ford.
Yeah.
Wheeling a Toyota.
No, I've seen that one. I think you've got half the facts there. I have seen it before. It was it looks like it, but it's slightly wrong. It was actually the Toyota pushing the Ford with a rope. It was pushing the Ford with a rope into the road.
Yeah.
You've seen that before.
We're going to have a fist fight there in a second.
we probably should mention that Andre owns a Toyota.
My brother owns a Ford. But on that Ford, our car of the year for Induction Noise last year was a 2011 Ford Figo that we did the Lemons 9-hour race with. Stock standard Ford Figo. So since that day, we've got new respect for Ford. We've got a toe in the Ford camp.
Come on.
We've got a toe in the Ford camp.
Listen here. I need to get that Raptor down here too. We need to pull the Supra with the Raptor.
Is that as a new Raptor petrol?
Every time I go visit, I just walk straight to hello family, let me take the Raptor out.
So we've already decided we'll fly up to Bloom to go fetch it, just to drive it to Bristol basically.
Fly up to Bloom, drive it down to Cape Town, hook the trailer, then drive it to Knysna and back, drive it back to Bloom and fly back. I mean, it makes sense.
It's about a 50 grand trip, but it's fine.
And that's just the fuel bill for the range.
Yes, that's on flights or anything like that included.
So if money was no object and you can pick any car right now today, what would you have?
Probably a 911 turbo.
Oh, not a bucky.
No.
So you're a Porsche guy, and that from that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Since I can remember.
As far as you can remember.
I wasn't one of those young guys or ladies eyeing the red Ferraris. I like the Porsches.
We haven't actually answered that question ourselves. I mean, like your ultimate money no object car, where do you go?
The issue for me, it's difficult because I've got dream cars, and then I've got dream cars that I can aspire to actually own, like the 4C.
Yeah.
You win the lotto tonight. What's the first car that you buy tomorrow?
It's probably still going to be a 4C just because I want it in my arsenal. But I do love a 720 LT. I love that
765 LT.
765 LT. Sorry, 765.
So McLaren.
I love McLarens, man. I don't know why. It's just, I know they're supposed to brake and what, but it's just, it feels like they're so much more brutal than. I love Ferrari. Don't get me wrong. I love Ferrari, and The 296 is probably one of the best Ferraris for me currently out there because it can kind of compare to the 458. It's kind of like what I feel like the 458 should have been before the 488 and the F4 and whatever. The 458, no, the 458 is better. But the 488 and the F8 is not, it's...
Someone just take away the shovel before he digs way too deep here.
No. But,
So you got a big one.
But 765 LT.
765 LT.
Yeah, 765 LT.
Okay, so we got a McLaren, we got a Porsche. So it's,
And that's modern cars. That's like investment.
Which Alpha would you buy?
let no one say that we do not stand for diversity, right?
So what Alpha?
McLaren, Porsche.
Ferrari.
I would have a
458 Speciale.
Ferrari 458 Special.
I knew it.
It's the first car I would buy. I would buy some other cars as well, but that's would be the first one. Neil?
Do you know what like cars have been recently? I saw a video of it recently.
The ZHR.
Yes, apart from that, with a massive Ford can on it. It's actually, you know what, like car, it's the first sort of hypercar I saw and I thought, flip, I wouldn't mind having a go in that. Because I always liked, I felt like the, LaFerrari and so on was, for me, the last sort of hypercars that I thought, flip, that's cool. Anything after that is too complex, too technical, but Aston Martin, Valkyrie, Spider.
Yeah, look. Look, that
Did you see the video of Chris Harrison recently? Aston Martin, Valkyrie.
Never mind, did you see it? Did you hear it?
But it just, there's very few times you look at it as like a car like that and you see it without the roof on and that looks so much better than the coupe.
But I think the sound with the roof off
Yes,
in that
it's
place
insane.
I've just thought of the ultimate car to buy. But I don't know if you're going to get him. Is it Gordon Murray?
I was thinking the same thing.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Sorry, we're nerding out now.
Okay, you can pick two. You can pick two cars, okay?
You can pick two cars.
Okay? So what's your second one?
Gordon Murray. Gordon Murray.
What, you got a 911 turbo? What else?
In a Ford bakkie.
There you go.
Pick and Raptor, like definitely.
Yeah.
Walter.
Yeah, and I was privileged enough to take a drive in the new Raptors, modified. It's quick.
It'll do. Okay, so I'll go for the 458 Speciale still, and
Which Alpha?
then it'll be tricky. It'll either be a GTA, a modern GTA M,
Oh, that's a good
4-door,
choice.
2-seater.
Yeah.
That's unique.
Yeah.
Or it will be an Alphaholics GTA R,
Ooh.
the little
Yes.
coupe with a very expensive engine and 2 million rand worth of suspension.
You make me think, and I'm like, can we not just choose five?
Can we
not just choose five?
It's like asking me to choose one watch.
No, I hear you. So Andre's like sponsored us some bling here.
Yeah, we're all wearing Andre's
And
watches.
he uses the word sponsor very loosely. We've got a watch brand partnership.
Sure, second one. I'm torn between like something new and something old, but let's go something new. Screw it. New GT3 RS.
Okay.
Good car.
Always a good choice.
Good car.
Manual or PDK?
You don't get the GT3
don't
RS
get- yeah.
in.
Oh yeah, no, you
Just the
you don't.
GT3 you get, yeah.
But my heart is
Not unless you've got this kind of money that we're talking about.
They're probably manual swap it.
Manual swap it.
my heart is saying 911, that 911K.
Yes.
Have you heard like that's that one that revs to 11,000 RPM?
No.
It's
the-
basically the
total-
competitor to the Alpha Alex Junior.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's,
like an old school.
it's like the British,
Singer
the
kind of-
British
Have you
version
never
of Singer
seen that?
that makes it.
So.
Have you never heard? No, man.
Dude,
It
you've gotta
makes
go
a
check it out.
noise and a half.
Where have you been? Like, what's going on?
I'll
Like,
go check it out. I've been driving Alpha some of the things.
but we said two, so GT3 RS, new GT3 RS.
Cool.
Specifically to drive on the ring, ideally.
Valkyrie and?
No, not a Valkyrie.
You didn't know, you
you
still have
have
two.
to-
You
you
still
have
have
the
two.
Valkyrie.
So you still need two.
So, if I win the lotto tomorrow, the first car I buy, I'd probably finish my Harper.
No,
Yes,
you'll probably pay someone to finish.
I'll pay someone to finish my Harper. But if I had to pick two money no object cars, I'd be very tempted to look for a nice F40, but then I'd buy an F50.
Okay.
And there's another car, I'm not sure if you're going to mention that one, but there's another car that I would find very hard not to buy.
And then I would
You said
probably
2. I asked for more, you said 2.
and then I would probably look at the F50 in my garage and go, that is an amazing car, but it's not very pretty. So I'd sell it
And buy an F40.
and buy a Pagani Zonda.
The original.
Are you still on number 1?
That's still number 1.
You see, now it's like he's figured out how to choose 5.
It's
Because
sound like one.
I'm just going to say, you know what, I'm going to buy like a GTRS, but you know what, I'm going to sell it and I'm going to buy a 911 K. But actually, that's what I want.
This is what I do.
I'm going to sell that one and then buy a Carrera GT actually. So
my first one would be the Pagani Zonda. And then car number 2, I need something that's practical and daily drivable because I have kids.
You've got people for
Well,
that.
I have a kid.
You've got people for that. You don't have to buy something super practical.
I don't.
This is
Then
money no object. You will eventually have more cars, but the
So I'd
first
have like a Range Rover or something that I can drive every
the
day.
boring
In
stuff.
that case, I'd buy a Ferrari F12
Okay.
That's a good
because that
It's
is
a very conservative
just
choice for a.
Just
in terms of money, it's a very
but
conservative choice.
I love that
Which
thing.
is
I
cool.
just absolutely love the way that it feels when you drive it. I've always said that any car that's got more than sort of 500-ish horsepower is just wasted on the road because you can never use it all. You can't drive that car at 10/10. So the perfect car for me is the 740 horsepower F12 because that
Makes
thing
perfect
is
sense.
just, it's beautiful.
Too much power is
and
just
it's
enough.
so, you know, that typical fingertippy feel that a really nice Ferrari has, and only Ferrari seems to get it
driven one. But
perfect. They've just got this way that they dance with you, and it's never quite settled, but it's under control, if you know what I mean.
That's what I love the 458 for.
I love
It's
that.
always. It
It's
just
just-
feels like it wants to play.
It just does this the whole time. It's like,
you're welcome to call me next time you've got an F12, take me around in one.
I can take you out in the 599 because it's fairly similar, slightly less power, a little bit more wayward.
I want to say it probably wants to kill you a bit more than AF12.
Yeah, no, the 599 is scarier to drive than the F12. It really is. This one, not so much, because this is, it's an HGTE. So the HGTE stands for Handling Gran Turismo Evoluzione.
Which is sports back suspension.
It's a sports pack suspension, but rather counterintuitively, it's softer than the standard car.
Interesting.
It's softer sprung, but it's got stiffer anti-roll bars. And it's much more stable on the road. It's not as twitchy as the standard car. And of course, the HGTE comes with a different exhaust, so it sounds...
A different
it's
exhaust is
beautiful.
always good.
Yeah.
I actually like Nico's idea of the 765.
765.
You know what's my favorite of that, slightly the predecessor to that? The 675. I think it's still one of the
675 also
prettiest.
good.
That in
Yes,
Viper.
the 650 and the 675.
Came out in Viper green.
So you know what is awesome for me about McLaren is you can still it's kind of like the 4C, you can still daily it.
Do you know, I've
Apart from
only,
the build quality.
Actually a daily.
Daily, the shit out of a 458 dude.
I've
can do
only
that as
had the pleasure of driving the MP4. And if I'm being brutally honest, I didn't like the way that it drives because, like I said, that fingertippy feel of the Ferrari, I love that. The McLaren, the MP4 specifically, can't do that. Now, I've heard that the later McLarens are a lot more playful and they're a lot more fun to drive. I'd love to try one. If anyone listening wants me to. But anyway. But yeah, I don't like the way that it feels. Because it feels to me a lot like an R35. It's a question of... Sorry, bro. But it is. You don't feel like you're driving it. You feel like you're telling it where to go and how fast to get there. It's driving for you.
Yeah, but
And I don't like that.
To be brutally honest, that's kind of was McLaren's first entry back into the market. So I mean,
it's impressive what they've done out of nowhere.
What I will say is
Yeah,
the factor that it's got that clever suspension that has no anti-roll bars and stuff, and it sort of self-levels and whatever, hugely impressive. Because that thing, corners completely flat, but at the same time, it rides like a Jaguar. I mean, it is so smooth and comfortable. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But that, to me, again, it's great for driving it all day long, but it doesn't talk to me the way that a Ferrari does. You know, if I take this car out and I drive over a packet of chips, I can tell you whether it's crinkle cut or smooth. Whereas in the McLaren, I couldn't tell you what I hit.
Well, I mean, you probably just need to hit the sport button to make everything stiff. Then it'll be fine.
But the funny thing is, I think like if you when did the MP4 or the MP12 to come out, or this, what is it?
The MP412 came out in 2000.
Someone's
12-ish, 10-ish.
Because I'll tell you why I'm saying it.
Same time
Because
as the 458, right?
Yeah, they're
the same.
Yeah, it was about 11, 12 thereabout, I think.
Because I recently I've been watching some videos of everyone redriving, going back to the GTR, the Nissan GTR, because that was the thing, you know, like the Porsche killer back in the day for like half the price or whatever. The funny thing is, everyone called. Do you want to check if?
Yeah, I'll check. You carry on.
Everyone called that car. It's a PlayStation.
It's a
car.
computer on wheels.
Now, if you look at what people are driving it now they're like, you can't believe we called it that, because the transmission whine, it's actually a very, very noisy thing. Like it's got a character, it's got a certain driving feel that compared to modern cars makes that thing feel
more analog.
Yeah. But for the time it wasn't, which actually for me is always is crazy to think that people are now like, oh, you know, they forget about how this actually felt, you know, because the layout, I mean, it has like 2 drive shafts running back and forth in the car for the gearbox and the 4-wheel drive system, and that has certain vibrations in it. And people are like, modern cars don't have that sort of like feedback that you can feel in the car.
It all just feels comfy. It almost feels like a 5 Series BMW, and when you wring its neck, it's a supercar.
Yeah. But the thing is, the GTR was way ahead of its time, but it still used like, I want to say, old technology, because it still had a proper transfer case and everything
it's all the computers, it's the traction control and stuff. I think that was very complicated.
The gearbox for the time.
In terms of how it does the transfer of power and how quickly it can change and stuff.
Because it was mechanical, it was computers, but the underneath of it wasn't like drive-by-wire or these things it was still like shafts. It had to go through a bunch of shaft mechanical components to try and...
If you took the electronics out of a R35 GTR, you can actually be left with a car that in theory should be able to drive. Think about it. Because it doesn't have like a Ferrari FF, a 4-wheel drive system that is being kept together by fairy dust. It's got a normal axle, it's got a normal, it's a trick-ish gearbox, but it's still a normal gearbox.
Look, the engineering in it is bulletproof.
Yeah, but I mean the engineering.
Not that, but the initial cause had gearbox issues.
But that was only because of the selectors that apparently like is a very cheap fix these days that you can do it. It's and also because I mean that's also where that's where the first thing where you can have like, you know, where we talked about the stages, because every year there was different sort of, they improved the gearbox and the launches and the software, because the initial cars like it can count how many times you did launch control in it, like how hard you pushed it.
Speaking of that, I've got a very important question for you. Your Ford Ranger, is it stock or does it have a map?
No, stock.
What's the mileage on it? You said you drive a lot, so...
I do like between 7,000 and 9,000 kilometers. No, not a month. It's about 80,000, 90,000 a year.
Yeah, that's
a lot of driving.
So what mileage?
Welcome to Joe.
174.
It's running.
No, it's a bit more than that. 180, 190 around there.
Okay.
Well, I think to just get the topics back in order, I think we...
we've gone off on a tangent.
I don't know what
were we supposed to
been
talk
speaking about. I can't remember anymore, but...
I thought everybody was going to pick a car and then Neil just wanted more and more, and I'm like, you're going to have cars, you know? And then it's just...
Getting back kind of to the German side of things with ROWE Oil, etc. I think we all kind of have a common road trip that as car guys that we would love to do, and that's kind of like your typical European road trip. I mean,
I thought you were going to say Bloemfontein to Durban.
I mean, how many brandies do you have in? That can become very excited. But
Kids really are not condoning drinking and
Driving. That's for the passengers.
yes, in Bloemfontein you take the Richelieus, like you get the Richelieu with the net, right? Yeah. So that's
Brandy's
there
so
for a
strong they have
reason.
to cage it.
Yeah, but that's there for a reason.
Yeah.
It's so that your passenger doesn't spill their brandy in the car when you are driving like a complete asshole in your bakkie. So you just hang it off the mirror and you put your glass in there.
In the net.
In the net. And I promise you it works.
They call it the Bloom gimbal.
Yes, exactly. Anyways,
It's the first time tonight I actually know what you're talking about.
so you tried it.
Been there, done that.
It is a well-known.
It's a well-known fact. You know.
It's a useful life hack.
Yes. Everyone needs to know. Like you rock up in your mate's back with a glass. Like, oh, what must I do with this? Don't worry, you've got it covered.
Back to the European road trip, the transcontinental,
Yeah.
the Euro trip drive.
And I mean, we all want to visit the Nürburgring, I would assume. No.
I was this close a couple of times.
I've been this close twice, and then it's always in winter that I'm there.
Yeah.
And then I was in Cologne, which is what 20 k's. Köln, yeah.
Köln.
Cologne, it's like 20 k's away from there, but it's always in the middle of winter, so they just close everything.
So you see, we kind of have the same idea, but let's take it back a notch. What was your first car, Keo?
My first car was Aston Martin.
Okay, yeah.
It was
Yeah. Not on the PlayStation.
Honda Civic.
Excuse me, what?
Honda Civic.
A Honda Civic, a lawnmower.
My brew.
Honda boys.
But I want to say you kind of the Honda corner there, because what did you have?
I had a Honda as well.
There you go.
Blade.
Blade.
For the ankle.
I drove a Blade into freaking Ballard every day. I had buyers for that car lined up. And everyone asked me if it's my mommy's car. So
The mommy and your daddy?
Yeah. He was way too clean to be
It was your Omar's car.
It was my grandma's car, yes. It was nicknamed Oma.
Wasn't it automatic as well?
So
It was a 4-speed auto.
Nice.
So
With
Henco,
overdrive?
In case you missed it, just tell Henco very quickly about the first time that you raced in Mexico with that car.
Oh, I used
What happened?
I used blinkers to change lanes basically.
Put his indicator while it was
So we were varsity, and now we're going at night. Now, like we had some non-alcoholic beverages,
Of course.
Yes.
And
Very
I'm not going to say
responsible.
where, but it's like we're on our way home in the evening. So we
Somewhere
all
in
line
Mexico.
up. Somewhere we all line up, and there's the cars behind us. His friends was another car, and they decide to videotape this. But we all have like 1500 Honda. I had an 1800
Powerhouses.
Other friend JP is there with his GT, with his rusted out Alpha, but was by far the quickest car there. And then they take this video of us pulling away, and then me. It's not like indicating it to go across the lane, basically. At least I followed the rules of the road.
Very polite.
Just to make illegal street racing that little bit
A little bit
safer.
safer.
There are standards to racing. We're not barbarians.
I was not the coolest kid in the CPT Ballard the next day, basically, after that video surfaced.
Andre, your first car was Disprin.
Yes. Which was not the first car that I didn't own it, but it was a family friend's car. It was the car that I used to drive when I was in matric. It was a 1200 Toyota Bakkie, 1979 model. It was quite a while back. It was a few years back that I was in matric. From earlier days. In the old days.
In the old days.
So it was a 1200. In its earlier life, it had a 16-valve Toyota 4AGE engine in it. That engine damaged it quite a bit because the previous owner, in his young and wild days, we used to also have a lot of, non-alcoholic beverages.
Was that you?
No, it wasn't me. It was like a guy, a family friend of ours. So since then he's quieted down quite a bit, but in his young days he was quite a rough guy. So then this thing has been on its roof, it's been all over. So every body panel's got a few wrinkles on it. It was called Disprint because it was completely white. Everything's white. The seats, not the tires, but everything except the tires were white. So yeah, that was. It had this cool hack that the key, the lock was to start the car. Was ignition was completely worn out. So you could start it with a screwdriver, start with anything. So when I used to go out with my mates, I take the house keys. Only the house keys. So you can drive with it, you can get back home, you can use it. So that's awesome.
And Henco, what was your first car?
While we're on this topic, I was thinking now, and I'm going to blame my mother for me not knowing what you guys are talking about. Because I had this old Volkswagen Golf, that jumbo Golfs.
Yeah.
You know, at Stellenbosch, I don't know how it happened, but it couldn't reverse. And I was the only one of our friends that had a vehicle. And every time we would get in the car, we'd park somewhere, and then when we were going home, everybody pushed it out.
It's like a boat.
You push it out, and we went home. But in any case, what I want to tell you guys, so I started dabbling also in modifications and stuff.
Now you got to tell us more.
Yeah,
I like the fact that you modify the car before you fix the gearbox.
No, then it was fixed now. I can't remember what age I was, but I was already delivering pizzas with that same jumbo Golf.
There you go.
Okay. And I thought, okay, I want to make this thing quicker because I want to make more money.
Okay.
So you can deliver more pizza.
Exactly. Time is money, bro.
Exactly.
Nice.
At a stage, I had my brother sitting next to me because there wasn't GPSs, phone GPSs. There was, but we used a map of Wellington.
Nice.
There you go. There you go.
And I spoke to my one friend, and I didn't know anything about cars. I know now where to put in the petrol, check the oil, all those type of stuff.
Where to find reverse gear.
And he told me, listen, no, go put on a free flow system. Awesome. I was thinking it's just the exhaust pipe. I went to the shop, put on that thing, but it made a moesegeras.
That's kind of what they do.
Yeah, exactly. And I drove that thing from the garage back home, and the moment I got back home, my mom said, Henco, gaan haal af daai ding. And that's when it stopped.
So you basically just went back to the place and
Yeah, I went back. I said, I went to that I said,
can I get a money back guarantee?
You have to take this thing off. So yeah.
But okay, the reason I brought up the first cars is, let's say you can take your first car over to Europe. You kind of had to now. You've somehow made like 80 grand to go overseas now, and you've gotten your first car there, and you're like, okay, so I need to enjoy this trip, but I also want to go around the track. What are you doing to the car? What are you modifying before you go? So in my case,
so it's just to go on the track, or actually to
do the road trip. Go on the track and drive back.
From somewhere in Europe.
Let's call it from the UK. Everyone usually that you see on YouTube starts in the UK, they go on the Channel Tunnel, they drive through Belgium, France or whatever.
The nice thing about starting in the UK is that they've got a very healthy car modification scene, so it's a good place to mod your car.
Okay, so we in the UK, so what I'm doing with the Junior, and I mean, we're not going to go in like, oh, we're going to engine swap it, we're going to put this, what. Just your basic. So first modification for me on the Junior would have been the seat. The backrest of a Junior is such a flimsy finger when it's like 40 years old already. I would definitely have to do a proper seat in it. Maybe do a bit of a half cage, so I go full harnesses. And the seats I'll put in, it won't be like this new Recaro, whatever. I'll maybe go like, those classic Cobra bucket seat type of looks. And I mean, other than that, make sure it's got the LSD in it, the normal LSD, which they usually add in.
Not the drugs, it's a limited slip.
They don't know.
Just in case.
I'll probably
It's not that
want
kind of
to.
workshop.
It's not that kind of workshop. And the only modifications I'll really do to the engine and stuff is I'll love to do the exhaust and like a little bit of a cone filter,
A free flow that his mother would
A free flow, yes. But I would also probably just see if I can baffle the sump. And that's
You don't have to baffle the sump on the 105.
You can just put more oil in it if you want, but
You don't have to. It's already baffled.
Oh,
Yes.
I
You guys are
didn't
going
even
into a lot
know
of
this.
detail here now. For
No,
like some-
but okay, but it will literally be
It's alpha,
seat,
It's
harness,
made for
just to keep myself in, and then like exhaust and intake. That would be my basic mods for and I mean that car was.
And obviously fix all the stuff that was broken on it
There's
before.
nothing broken on it.
How good were
You
the
might have to
brakes?
sort some paperwork out.
It was good. It was just broken the day I bought it, but after that was fine. It was broken for the first let's call it 2 kilometers, and then the rust kind of went away, and I was actually on the brake pad. Then it broke. Not broke,
So
it braked. It braked.
Henco, presumably you're putting on a free flow exhaust.
Correct. And I need reverse. And I'm happy.
And we're obviously putting ROWE
All the lubricant will be-
all the lubricants.
Yeah.
Yes.
Reverse?
But that's all very racetrack oriented.
No,
Do those
that's
things really add to the road trip itself?
in the junior, yes, because the front seats it's comfortable, but it's not going to be more uncomfortable with like those classic overbucket seats. I mean, my dream build would be to have a junior exactly like I mentioned now.
Maybe a little fan on the dashboard to keep you cool.
No, man, that's why we've got the smoker window. All you do is you extra tilt it, so it's
Got a
got
little triangle that
exactly. So
Let's
what I
not
used to
forget
do
that this road trip is happening in Europe. It's not exactly known for super high
That's true.
temperatures.
You may want a working heater for your window that's going to be misted up.
I'm sure we'll find a product that we just spurts on there, and it would
Some river
anti fog,
Okay.
anti mist
Okay.
or something. I've heard of stuff like that. So no, not really.
that
That's
car's going full on river, so you'll need like sponsorship stickers and everything.
that's fine. That's fine. I'll have to put an BMW or Porsche badge on, but it's fine. They'll never notice.
Can I just correct you on that? Any car can use a product.
For the racing team to be sponsored.
Yes, for
Yeah,
the racing
yeah.
team. Yeah.
So,
But do you, I mean, you wouldn't necessarily have any desire to modify your Golf. I mean, your Golf would pretty
That
much
thing
be...
was perfect. I drove from Langebaan up to Strandfontein
yeah, that's a
on the sand roads that the 4x4 was. 4x4
So it's a multi-purpose vehicle.
That thing,
it's a car. It's good.
Yeah.
Why not?
and we did it.
So that's
We didn't get stuck.
So that's why he
amazing.
likes a bucky. He's like, this is just like a golf cart with extra storage space. That's exactly,
so that's kind of the induction noise top tip. If you want something that can go everywhere, buy a jumbo Golf.
It's a bit like I
100%.
had this at my previous house. So you guys know where I live now. Just across the road from the across the R44 is where I used to live. And my next door neighbor was very into these 4x4 Treks, and he had this highly modified Nissan Sunny with huge suspension, the V6, huge suspension, winches front
VG30.
and back. It had. I mean, this thing was kitted out, and he would go on these huge 4x4 Treks and come back and show me the pictures, and he's like, no, you must come, you must come, you must come. And I'm like, I really want to, but at that stage I was working 24/7, so I didn't really have time to go. But then he told me about this one time, they went on this trek somewhere, and there's a bunch of guys with these kitted out 4x4s, there's Rangers, Range Rovers, Land Rovers, him and his Nissan Sunny, there's guys in Fortuners, every 4x4 you can think of, all of them are there. All of them are modified to the max to take on any terrain imaginable. But then at the end of the day, there's like this, he says it's just nothing on this farm. And then there's this one tree where they all sort of stop around it and they sit in the shade under the tree. And then they watch, because there's this big hill that starts off gravelly, turns sandy in the middle, and then at the top he described it as death cookies. It's like these little rocks that as soon as you hit them, there's just no traction.
You don't have momentum and you start...
Yeah, so he says all the guys, it doesn't matter what vehicle they've got, they can't get over this hill. And the guys are sitting there, they're having a Coke, they're staring at this hill, they're going, but if I come from this angle and I go a bit faster here and I add more power there, or if I go onto the grass there and then do this, and trying to map a way to get over this hill. And they're all standing there, and these 4 farm workers in a fucked up old Toyota Cressida come driving past, and they like wave at these guys standing under the tree, and they just go over the hill.
They know the way.
And all these guys with their 4x4s, they're just like, nah, not doing it.
We're going. Classic. So,
Andre, Disprin. How are you modifying Disprin for this road trip? Because presumably if you're taking luggage in Disprin, it's going to get wet.
Yes. So I would take a slightly different approach, right? Mm-hmm. So Disprin is going to be rubbish on the track. I mean, let's be honest. It's not going to be...
I don't know. Those 1200 buckies with rear drive, you could have some fun with it.
It doesn't matter where it drives from if it's got like 35 kilowatts, you know?
Well, if his tires are skinny enough, it could feel fast.
Not really. So I would enjoy the trip more.
Okay.
So what I would do is I would put like a nice streamlined canopy on the back, you know? Get some nice mattresses in the back. Maybe like
turn it into a bit of a camper.
Exactly.
I like your thinking.
Shaggin' wagon.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen. I mean, I'll get the old sound system upgraded a bit, you know, put a sub in the seat.
Nice.
You know?
Just make sure it doesn't unplug when you're going off-road.
We're not going to go rallying. This is for the track thing. So, and then I'll enjoy it, and I'll kind of upgrade, like nice comfort things, you know, make sure there's like an aircon or some description in there. At the back, have a bit of a, cabinet with glasses and something to, refreshments. Exactly.
Some manner of sustenance.
Bit of a, folding braai thing that you can,
Yeah, that could be fun. But I'm just thinking, if you are going to be taking it to the Nürburgring, the Nürburgring is a public road. It is open. It does get quite congested, and it generally gets congested with really fast-moving cars. Mm-hmm. Might I suggest some orange lights on top, just to warn people of slow-moving traffic?
Yeah, what I think I'll do is I'll maybe put some flashing lights at the top, maybe like a noise of some description, and then what I'll do is I will get a chain with some, these cones, these VLC cones, orange and white cones. And what I'll do is I'll put those cones on wheels, right? And I'll tie them together with a rope. And then I'll just tow them behind this brick. So for like 50 meters behind me, I'm towing these things. So if anybody comes at you at speed, it's very clear, very safe. Because it's like there's some cones in the road.
You're towing your own safe following distance with you.
It's like moving roadworks, kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that can work.
This could be a top tip for guys learning to race. Like, if you approach someone with a cone dragging behind them, watch out! They don't know what they're doing.
If you see a cone within 100 meters, there may be a driver.
Neil,
what are you doing to poor Omar's Ballard?
I actually did this trip. Not in Omar, but I had a friend. Not with Bud. A friend of mine drove his shitbox Golf that overheated every couple of 100 kilometers from the UK. Picked me up in Belgium at a train station outside Spa. We went to watch the Spa Grand Prix. We then drove to the Nürburgring, went around the Nürburgring, and then went to Italy for the Monza Grand Prix.
So you actually did the trip?
So we did the trip, yeah. And in his shitbox Golf, and we camped. And
Which Golf was that?
Golf 5, 1600, but it was as I said, overheating the whole time. We camped. We looked like South Africans because we were camping in 20 or 30 euro tents. We were literally soaked the whole time. We bought plastic bags to cover it. I took a picture of it in the
proper peasant spec.
No, we were proper peasant spec. We looked like we were from South Africa. Like it looked like we were squatters, really. But anyway, like if I would do that with Omar, I'd actually just keep it the same. I'd be like the same with you. Focus on the trip. Actually, you know, the Nürburgring, like I think because of the nature of the track, we went around in an M3 actually, passenger drive, and that level of performance on a track like that is, I think, because it's long straights, it's fast. I would still go out and win it, but the right thing answer, you know, from a track perspective, would be like, you know, digital automatic gearbox. But I would just keep it as is. Keep it. Make sure there's enough luggage space. Enjoy the trip with mates. Because there's awesome roads in Europe.
It's more about the experience.
I want to say it's not about the destination, it's about the trip.
Yeah.
But that being said, with having a junior,
I mean, with having a junior, I don't really need to.
Proper fun. I mean, you can throw that around.
Yeah. And as I said, it's not like I'm going full carbon seats or whatever. It's that classic Cobra bike.
Yeah, of course. For me, I mean, I would probably, if you talk to me, what is the sensible thing, I'd rent like a proper car on the Nürburgring, just one of those rentals, Suzuki Swifts.
Yeah.
Drive that for 2-3 laps. However, I don't want to be like the draw on the drinkwater, as we say. Have you seen how expensive it is to go around the Nürburgring these days?
It is.
Yes, the insurance and stuff.
Prohibitively expensive.
For a South African, like, you know, if you rent a car, like if you look at the fees, if you hit the barrier, like it's a lot of stuff that.
Look, your actual car rental, like if you rent like a GTI or a BMW 228i, because I thought as well, like I'm going around the ring when I'm going to Europe now, you know, so I checked like. I think it's like 2 or 3 laps was like 300 something euro or something. I was
that's
like,
cheap.
Yeah, I was like, that's cheap, man. Your excess when it crashes, eye-wateringly expensive.
I tend not to look at those things when I go cars on track in Europe.
But anyways, a lot like Andre, I was in Europe in winter, so I mean, we didn't even go close to the ring.
But you're going to do the ice driving next time.
Yes. Did you actually see Yuki Tsunoda went to the exact ice driving track that I wanted to? That's more expensive to do than go and rent a car at the Nürburgring track. But obviously you're learning a skill to actually race on ice.
That's kind of a cool thing.
You can do it every day in South Africa.
Yes, exactly.
There's lots of ice everywhere.
There's lots of ice. As I was looking at it, I was just thinking about everyone there in St. Moritz in Switzerland, where that's kind of what they do on a daily basis with the Porsches and stuff. They love going on this, you know, they're going on these ski trips with their Ferraris and their Porsches, and then they go on the, you know, the ice lake. So one day when we're big, that's what we're gonna do.
Or we just take a detour on our way to the Nürburgring. We take a detour,
and we go show them how to actually do it.
With all our OnlyFans people, basically.
My Honda Civic. I had the 3-door Civic. It was stunning. It was like this light metallic blue color, and I actually did some modifications to it already. It had, and you know, this is just bear with me because I was in school there, and you know, impressing your friends is important. And
Max Power.
I was in public school, so
Max Power magazine.
Everyone reads Max Power magazine, and you've got to do the right mods, and you've got to have the right brand parts on your car and all of that. Bearing in mind that insurance in the UK is eye-watering, nosebleed, bollock shrinking expensive when you are 17. So I didn't have the VTEC or even the 1500. It was a 1400.
We didn't get those yet.
We didn't get those in South Africa because they are painfully slow.
Just the thing for a 17-year-old.
So of course, because it is that slow, you do need to put on proper bits.
Spend a few £1,000 on it so it can be as fast as a 1500.
Well, it was never as fast as a 1500. So the first thing you've got to do is you've got to spend basically at least 1 month's salary on a sound system. So I had a beautiful Pioneer head unit. I don't know if you remember those ones with the dolphins swimming on it. Yeah, I had that one with the OLED display or whatever it was. some 6x9s and some nice speakers in the doors that didn't quite fit, but I made a plan. I had what was the exhaust? Remus. I had a Remus exhaust on it.
Expensive exhaust on a
It was a damn expensive exhaust.
OZ wheels.
I had OZ Racing Super Turismo wheels on it.
Knockoffs or actual
OZ Racing wheels.
That was another 2 months' salary.
Yeah. So, and I had some really sticky BF Goodrich tires on it, and it wasn't fast, but it could keep momentum through any corner. At any speed that you could get that thing up to, it'll go around any corner. So it was brilliant. So in terms of the actual car, I think
It's actually not bad for them, but you just keep the foot flat.
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't change much. I might upgrade the brakes because they do go a little bit spongy if they get hot.
But they wouldn't get hot because it doesn't go fast.
It doesn't go fast,
It's like the Figo brakes in the Mono.
No, but this thing had like tiny little discs at the front and drums at the back.
Ah, drums.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I would upgrade those a little bit. I would do a couple of further upgrades to the sound system because I quite like listening to my music when I'm road tripping and doing highway stints, and then I'll turn it off when I'm dancing through a mountain pass. But I think one of the things I would love to have done to that car was to change the seats, because the seats aren't uncomfortable, but they've got zero support.
So you just be falling off them.
You just fall off it the whole time, or you're hanging onto the steering wheel for dear life. But even worse than that, they were made of this, I call it Volgalure.
What color was it? Navy?
No, it's like grey.
Okay.
Grey with like a funky pattern on it. But it was just the most horrible, cringy fabric to touch.
Are you one of those people like
No, it's
that
just
stings?
No. You get into a car with leather seats, and it's nice because you sit down and you can slide into the car. You're not stuck to the freaking seat. That thing, it was like sitting on Velcro.
But I like that.
Every time you shift, it's like it's pulling your damn pants off, and I'm like,
I like that because that's grippy. So
you don't need bucket seats.
You don't need bucket seats because you're Velcro in, bro.
If one of your clothes is to swing, you're just still like shaking around in your clothes, basically.
And then the other thing is,
you're falling out of your pants.
Basically.
The other thing is, after you've had your drive, you get out and you slam the door shut, and as you're slamming the door shut, you realise that you're being electrocuted. Because there's so much static electricity built up. It's like
you see that big spark.
As the door swings away from you, you just see the.
Looks like one of these plasma balls.
So it doesn't sound like you're very keen on your car for the road trip then.
That 1400 motor was just so gutless.
Bro.
I couldn't do a road trip with that thing.
I have a 1.2 S12 from 1979. It will last forever, but it will take forever to get.
Okay, so if you had a budget of about 500 grand to buy a car for this road trip, what Alpha do you buy, Andre?
Ooh, that's a tricky for 500 grand.
500k.
Yeah.
500k.
I will buy a 2017 Alfa Giulia.
And you can buy a used, yeah.
2017 Alfa Giulia Super, rear-wheel drive, right? Very tunable motor, very tough drivetrain, carbon fiber prop shaft, ZF diff at the back. I will do software.
Absolute knobhead in the steering.
Check. I will do software. I will do all the stages, Stage
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Downpipe, gotta go. Cold air induction is bullshit. Cold air induction, it's not a thing, okay?
Oh, wow. We just got cancelled again.
Just put a proper air filter in. That's it. That's all you need. Alpha spent millions and millions and millions, and even more than that, like Trump says, to develop a proper airbox.
So I know you would not put a cone filter on a car. Interesting.
I didn't say that.
From a guy with a cone filter.
I didn't say that. That's not a induction.
That's not a thing. That's not
their induction. Be accurate.
Neil, what car are you taking?
What Porsche Carrera are you taking?
No, I'd buy like the
500K.
best Golf GTI Club Sport. GTI Club Sport. Not the S. Golf GTI Club
That's
Sport.
surprising.
That's actually a fun car.
Practical. Because I'm still, you know what? Because I'm thinking about the trip. My initial thought was BMW 140, something like that. But I'm still thinking about the whole Euro trip sort of aspect of it. You know, you want to go enjoy the scenery, you want something that's easy to drive.
But how is
I
that?
like the Club Sport.
But how is that different from a BMW 140 to enjoy the scenery?
I just like a Club Sport.
Okay.
I just like the GTI Club Sport. Yeah, that would be my choice. Best Golf 7 GTI Club Sport I can find.
Interesting.
Nico?
I still believe you can daily anything in the world, and I would try and find a Lotus 111R.
Ooh.
Because you can,
Stole it from
because you can get them for under 500.
I thought
100%.
about I have to put people in. I don't think I just have to think about
I don't
myself.
need to put anyone in who does.
It's basically a British slower 4C.
We're going on a road trip with our mates, so you're not going to want to.
just because of that, basically.
If we're going overseas, you're not going to want to drive with me. You're going to want to drive your own thing, you know. So we
That's a
each
good
have
choice,
our
though.
okay.
That's a very
111R, proper thing. Don't have to do a thing to it.
I'd ask him to
Just
find
go.
me one, but he'd probably sell it to Safari Build.
That's
Johan, if you're listening.
That's an outrageous slur. Henko?
Yes, I don't know. I'd like to travel with my mates. I don't want to travel alone. Old M5X.
X5M.
X5.
You can find an older one.
Yeah, for that, yeah. That's
Just
a good one.
pray that it lasts the trip.
It's
Because if it breaks
probably
down,
will.
if it breaks down, it's going to cost 500K to fix it. But that's a good choice. No, it's a good choice.
Yeah.
It's something fast that you can put
It's
on.
gonna be interesting to see that thing on the track.
It's going to be
because
faster than all our cars.
it's
basically.
big.
Well, we did last night. When we were on our track. I don't know if you were there, but you know, Leighton Fourie, who drives the M2 overseas.
But that's sim racing.
His dad, he drives sim racing.
Gerald Fourie,
Fourie. And he told us, like, when they were racing at the ring, they took them around the ring in an M5, X5M, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he said it was quite scary.
Yeah.
He said it's very fast, but like something that big. But you can do it. Shows you it's perfectly
I
fine
mean,
to do it. As a
just
sort of passenger
imagine
lad.
the torture that those tires must go
The
through.
brakes.
The brakes, the tires, everything that has any amount of friction to it, because of the weight that they have
If
to.
you don't upgrade those brakes, I can't imagine that you will complete a lap without having no brakes.
But that I think goes for any sort of road car.
Yeah, but I think that thing's particularly, you're not going to
Yeah, I mean,
finish
that
a
thing's
lap.
heavy.
You're not going to finish a lap.
But yeah, it's almost as heavy as the 350Z, bro.
I assume you can just drive a little bit slower.
In the general direction.
And Mr. Big Mouth there, what do you take?
So I was umming and eyeing, and you know, if you look hard enough, you can get.
A Ford Cortina for 500K.
The beige for Cortina.
No,
And your
if you-
achterplaas.
if you look hard enough, you can get a Giulia Veloce for that kind of money. So I was sort of.
Okay.
You can.
I know what you're saying, but it's the wrong choice.
Why?
Because a 2017 Super has exactly the same drivetrain. If you do the software, you've got the same performance and it's 150k cheaper. And then you can spend more on
But
the
I could
seat.
just have the Veloce.
Then you have to have a stage 1 though. Then you have to tell everyone you have a stage 1 in your car just to have a.
You're gonna have to spend that 150k that you save to get it to the Veloce spec. So I'll just buy a Veloce.
It costs you 5k
But-
on a bottle of brandy.
I call it an SS1, a super stage 1.
I can't in good conscience turn up to the Nürburgring in the same car as Andre, so I would look
150K
around.
more.
Yeah, right, the 50K more.
I would look around and I would find a manual 4.7 V8 Vantage.
Okay.
I reckon you'll get one for 500?
Yeah.
You should.
Probably, yeah.
With a working clutch?
Yeah.
Just
Might
enough
just
clutch
be-
to do the trip. And then
Just enough
Yeah,
clutch to do the
it's
trip
been-
and then.
yeah.
just enough clutch to do the trip. And then, you know,
Sell it
The
again
torque
to
in
me.
fifth gear might be a bit rough though, you know?
much for the clutch.
It'll be a
No,
bit
but
much.
that car, it's a lot of fun. It's chuckable. It's not necessarily as good for the road trip as the DB9 would be, and you can get a DB9 for similar money, by the way.
It'll be none on the
You'll
track.
have to
A
search
DB9
very
on the
hard.
track is not going to be as good as the V8 Vantage, and I just like the idea of having the manual and that V8 soundtrack is beautiful.
Yeah, it's a good choice.
Especially when you rev those V8s out, they sound absolutely biblical.
Choice, and
it's nowhere near as quick as it sounds,
yeah.
but it is. It's a fun thing, and it looks gorgeous.
And what's good about it is you can take it as is.
You can take it as is. You don't have to do anything to it. It's as at home on the Nürburgring as it is cruising the streets of Monaco.
We've got quite a wide variety of cars. It would be a cool convoy. Now, Henco can bring the trailer if one of us pranks our car.
Yeah, you can just
take your X5 with the trailer.
There we go.
I will push you with a rope with the Alpha. You get stuck.
Right, guys. Well, I think that's pretty much a wrap for this episode.
Maybe you can just tell us, where can people find more information? I know you mentioned the website. Is there any place?
No, so we have a distributor in Somerset West, Syndrome Global Trading. They're our official distributor in the Western Cape. I'm sure Nico has the contact details, so get in touch with you guys, and then we'll sort you out.
She'll point you in the right direction.
Exactly.
Cool.
Awesome. We'll get the best products that you can in your car. Get yourself sorted. Treat your car, man.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
I'm also going to be, like I said, my car desperately needs a service, so I'm going to be getting some oil, possibly the fuel system cleaner.
The liquid gold.
The liquid gold. And yeah, if you want to see that, because I'll probably film myself servicing my car again, then make sure you subscribe to the channel and follow us on Spotify so that you catch these episodes as and when they come out. And we will hopefully see you guys at the Nürburgring.
Very soon.
More likely at Neisner.
Yes. It's a close second to the Nürburgring.
It's a close second.
A bit more prestigious.
But yeah, obviously. The hill climb's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing what car ROWE actually brings to the hill climb.
I mean, there's going to be a Supra with a ROWE sticker on it. So it's fine. It's fine.
There's going to be an Alpha with the ROWE sticker on it.
There we go.
And,
so we sorted.
That's got to be at least worth 50 horsepower or so.
Of course.
And in a few days there will once again be a sports car with ROWE sticker.
Yes, Andre, just tell everyone when your next race is.
It's the 22nd of February.
22nd of Feb.
Yes.
So keep an eye on our Facebook page because we'll be posting the live streaming links on there if you want to watch Andre cruise around at the back of the pack.
Somebody needs to do it. Somebody needs to do it.
No, I'm just kidding. You actually did really well.
I'm just circulating the oil test for that.
Okay, fair enough.
I thought you were talking about the online racing of last night, basically.
Well, you can catch us there as well.
Yeah, we must actually start posting we must post the links there as well. But yeah, thanks for joining us. We will be back for another episode next week or whenever. And until then,
stay classy, San Diego.
Stay classy, San Diego.
In Mexico.
In Mexico.
Cheers, guys.
Lekker man, dankie. Dankie.
Ja, thanks.
Fuck, ouwens, ek gaan nou begin swat op fucking kar. Maar se gat.